Hello everyone and welcome to our 10th Curriculum Cadre. We hope you have been well the past month and are ready to dig into our webinar today. So here is our essential question and objective for today, just as it has been the entire school year. So how can we apply our CRT standards in our daily practice to positively impact instruction and student achievement? And then by the end of today, and by the end of the year, the objective is I can apply my CRT standards in real situations to maximize my effectiveness as my school's curriculum resource teacher. So let's just quickly go over our norms and expectations for our Cadre webinar. So just as a reminder, there will be a variety of question types that will come up throughout the webinar for you to respond to. As you draft your responses, please be thoughtful that you allow adequate opportunity to reflect, and then also submit your responses using complete sentences, checking for correct spelling and grammar. So here's our agenda for today's webinar. So we'll have a quick reflection over Cadre 9 webinar. We'll go over into some features about chalk, discuss some assessments, TFET 2.0, go over vertical planning, instructional software, and then look ahead. So for our Cadre 9 reflection, during our last webinar, we provided you some examples of how you and your leadership team could motivate and incentivize your students and teachers in preparation for state testing. So please just take a moment and let us know, what did you put into place to motivate and incentivize your students and teachers? So not only did we talk about motivation and incentives, but we also related how your role as a CRT relates to our CSUSA values: purpose, passion, integrity, and grit. So please just take a moment now to reflect on how you have been demonstrating CSUSA's PPEG values throughout this past month. So did you know there's a new and easier way to leave feedback in chalk for the teacher's lesson plans? It's a lot easier than having to go in each individual teacher's account and leave feedback. So here I'm going to go ahead and show you how to access this new feature. To access the new feedback feature for lesson plans, go ahead and you'll log into your chalk account and then click on the Admin tab. It automatically populates the analytics first thing, but over on the left-hand side, you'll see different tabs. For this purpose, we are going to be clicking on Lesson Feedback. Okay. So you'll have the group options, and then you can also search by the name. So I'm going to go ahead and search for teacher. Okay. Once you search for the teacher or the group, their names will populate over here on the left-hand side, but you can go ahead and just click on the one teacher to leave feedback. Also, please note at the top, it's the week of. So currently this is displaying this week, but you can easily go back or forward in the months or weeks just by clicking on the calendar and going through there. Now to look at the lesson plan, all you have to do is select the day. So I'm going to select Monday, April 17th, ELA. And now once I clicked on it, the lesson plan comes up. So I can now go through, review the lesson plan, and when I want to leave feedback, I just click Leave Feedback, and I can still scroll through the lesson plan to leave the feedback. What's also great is that we can also upload files. So if there's a great resource that I think would be beneficial for this teacher to use, then I can just upload that file and attach it to my feedback and send it to them. This also, another tab, has the lesson details, so it provides us the standards that are connected or for the unit for this lesson. And then once I've sent my feedback, I can go ahead and just exit out of there once I hit send feedback. Okay, and you can do that for every day. What I like to do is just look at all of the lessons for the week, and then on Monday, leave feedback for the entire week. So what if a teacher has not planned for a lesson? If they have not planned, it will remain gray, and it will simply say not planned. So if it's not planned, maybe a whole subject that's not planned, then you can just email the teacher to let them know that you need their lesson plans in for that day or for that week for that subject area. And that is the new quick and easy feedback feature. Now that we've had the opportunity to show you the new feedback feature, we would like to receive some feedback from you. So please take a moment to answer the following questions to help us with the continuous development of chalk. All right, so we're now going to go ahead and move on into assessments. So the education team has been reviewing our assessment plan for next school year, and we would like your feedback as we work through our state and regional assessment plans. Thank you for the feedback from both our chalk and assessments. We will definitely use your feedback to help drive both our chalk and assessments for next school year. So now we're going to go and look at the TFET 2.0. So please just take a moment to reflect on how you have been supporting your teachers to ensure they grow within their specific deliberate practice plan goals. Do you remember the TFET 2.0? I do believe we handed this out and reviewed it at a Cadre earlier on in the year. But just as a refresher, this is a great resource that the education team came up with to assist us with coaching our teachers. So we want to take support to the next level, and so by doing this, we can identify our teachers' DPP goals and then use this document to assist us with coaching in their specific DPP goal areas. So in a moment, on the left-hand side, I'm going to be providing you with a link to this tool that you can download if you would like. And then please just take a moment to respond to the question of how you could use this tool to support your teachers for the remainder of this school year, as well as going into next year. All right, so now we're going to move into vertical planning. So our essential question is, how can I prepare my students for the upcoming school year while continuing to teach within my grade level's content limits? And then we would like for you to be able to incorporate strategies, content, and vocabulary into lessons for the remainder of the school year that will help prepare my students for the upcoming grade level. So this essential question objective is really towards the teachers, but we also want to just give you the background knowledge of what vertical planning is and what it could look like in your building. So let's just start off with, what is a vertical team? So a vertical team is, through communication and cooperation, teams design curricular change and create support structures necessary to make high achievement by all students a reality. Okay, so what does this mean? What does this look like? So in our vertical teams, teachers from different grade levels, they will work together to develop a continuum of knowledge and skills that build from one grade level to the next. And then we also want team communication because this leads to a greater understanding of what is taught each year, which helps teachers organize those strategies, plan introductions to concepts, and just also reduce that repetition of content. So in result of vertical planning, the student achievement and success is enhanced. So now that we have a little bit of why we do vertical team planning, what are the goals? So here we have 5 different goals for team vertical planning. So the first one is to increase achievement for all students to close the achievement gap. We also want to bring about coordination and communication between grade levels, so we're not just stuck in that one grade level mindset, but we're also thinking outside of the box in order to prepare our students. We want to foster greater inclusion. We want to introduce skills, concepts, and assessment methods to prepare students for success in advanced coursework. And then we also want to encourage innovation. So we're going to go through a model for vertical team planning. Now this isn't just the only way that this could look like, but we want to provide you at least with one model of how it could look. So let's go ahead and review. So for the activity, teachers will work collaboratively together to align standards across grade levels and develop an understanding of what is required in the next grade level. The goals are the outcome is that we want from this activity is have teachers discuss problems student had with particular standards, as well as brainstorm ideas to help next grade levels teachers to better prepare their students for success while maintaining the integrity of their grade level's content limits. So for the first step in this model is we would have teachers look at their grade level standards and identify 3 standards in both reading and math that they felt their students struggled with the most this year. Once they've identified those 3 standards, we're going to have them compare the standards to the previous grade level. If the standard does not exist, then we would want them to try to find one that is closely related. And then they would want to make note of any major gaps on their team's notes. In the third step, we would group teachers and have them meet with correlating grade levels, and we'll have what this would look like on an upcoming slide. And then the final step is the higher grade level will present the standards they identified as problematic for their students and provide specific examples of the problems students had. Then we'll have the team share ideas to develop strategies that would help students master the standard for that lower grade level. So here is an example of the schedule. So for session 1, so that's step 1, having grade level teams work together on the first page of this vertical team planning template. It's a little difficult to see, but here in a moment I'll be providing you a link to this sheet. So here, just as a reminder, this is where the grade levels would be meeting together and identifying 3 standards within reading and math that students struggled with the most throughout the school year. So that was session 1. So in session 2, they would meet with the grade level above them. And they would use the second planning sheet of this packet. And then in session 3, they would meet with the next grade level. So here we can see that kindergarten was speaking to first grade, and then in session 3, first grade would be speaking to second grade. So now we're going to have you create an action plan for vertical planning within your buildings. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to occur, but we really encourage you to meet with your leadership team to see if this is something that they would like to incorporate within the next month and a half. So how will this look like in your school? So the objective for your response is to create a mock schedule for the vertical planning sessions, and then list 2 questions that each grade level will need answered in order to meet the goal of the planning. And then below are just some guiding questions for you to think about as you create your mock schedule and the questions that you would want to hold them accountable. So what will each grade level need to prepare before the meeting? How will you ensure that the discussions are based around data? And how will you follow up with the planning after the planning has taken place? So in a moment, on the left-hand side, there will be a text box for you to type your responses, as well as the link to the vertical planning sheet. So now we're going to look at instructional software. So here we have all of the different instructional software that we offer at CSUSA. So even though your school may have a couple of these, how do we know what students need in order to succeed within the classroom? Here is a great chart that was created to help us decide which instructional software would be most beneficial for each student if they're based on their need. So here we can see if we have a student that is ready to learn to read or they need those foundational skills, if they're in K2 or 3 and above and they're lacking those foundational skills, Lexia would be beneficial for them. And then we also have some notes for each of the software based on the need. So you can go ahead and take a moment to review this. So we have our Lexia reports. So we're just going to do an overview of these reports. So some key reports within Lexia is that usage report and predictor report. And then the main data that we get from Lexia is that meeting target. So students are assigned to custom targets based on their need. And then lower proficiency students will have a higher usage target because we really want them to use this system a lot. And then we also have the risk level, so a predictor that determines each student's target time, as well as a grade class with a large percentage of some risk and high risk students that might require that additional time. So here are those 2 reports. The first one at the top is the usage report, while below is the predictor report that we were discussing based on this one is a grade level. Some key Reading Plus reports is the C Reader Accountability as well as the Instructional Summary report. Some key data that we can pull from Reading Plus is the average C readers completed. So this will determine how close on average a class is to completing that recommended of C readers before testing. And we want to be looking at all completed weeks, which will show us the usage for the year. Another great key data point is using the bar chart. So this is a quick glimpse of where the majority of our students are with the completion of their C readers. And then here are the 2 reports. The top one is the C Reader Accountability report, while the bottom one is the Instructional Summary. So you can see that bar graph. So just like we did for reading with the chart, here is the chart for our math instructional software. So if we have students that need the EOC and test prep, which would be our civics, algebra 1, and geometry, we have PrepWorks, which is available to them. And then here, then we have the notes, which guarantees that EOC passing score. So go ahead and just take a minute to review this chart for our math instructional software. So some key reports that can be found in Think Through Math is the overview report and the weekly progress. And then some main data points that we can pull from this instructional software is the average lessons completed, an overall lessons bar chart, and then the overall lesson pass rates. And please note that the target for the lessons pass is 60% or more. And here are just some screenshots of these two reports. So the top one is the overview report, while the bottom is the weekly. So we do have recommended usage for Lexia, Reading Plus, and Think Through Math. So for Lexia, for students who are meeting a custom usage target each week, these targets are going to range between 20 to 80 minutes based on their predictor and grade level. And these targets are revised monthly. For Reading Plus, the recommended usage is an average of 100 C readers completed each year. And then for enrichment, 2 to 3 C readers a week, reinforcement, 3 to 5, and then for remediation is 5 to 7 C readers a week. And then for Think Through Math, the recommended usage is 30 past lessons before the state assessment. So this would work out to be all students in grades 3 through 5 all students would be about 3 to 5 attempted per week, while 2 to 3 lessons are passed a week. So looking ahead, we will have our final face-to-face cadre, and that will be in your region's determined date in May. So please be on the lookout for the invite to mark in your calendars if you don't have it down already, or reach out to your curriculum specialist so you can plan accordingly. I want to thank you for joining me today for our webinar, and I hope you all have a great rest of the year.